Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Basham, Yahushai, Basham, Kakadash. And Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father's throne, in whom the world ignorantly calls God. And Yahushai is the name of the Heavenly Father's Son's throne, in whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And giving double honor to the apostles and elders of great boast who taught me this truth, and shalom unto the elect. And also shalom unto the sincere. I am teaching this truth diligently and sincerely. And once again, we have another funny, even though it's sad, but another crazy video from Babylon the Great. And without much hesitation, I'll go ahead and play this video. And it states Trump's USDA bars grocery stores from offering discounts for SNAP recipients. And you know, because of the government shutdown, this SNAP recipients are having a hard time over there getting food. So some of these grocery stores have decided to have pity on these SNAP recipients by offering discounts on the food that they buy from them. So in other words, they are trying to make the food as cheap as possible, so that many of the SNAP recipients will be able to afford with whatever little money that they have in order to eat. But this devil went ahead and then placed or made a threat against these grocery stores that they shouldn't do that, because they said it provides unfair competition for those who or for those customers that are not on SNAP benefits. And you really can't make this up. And if people don't see that this so-called white man is truly the devil that the Bible speaks of, then I really don't know. And without much hesitation, I'll go ahead and play this video from MSNBC. And this is only for fair use, and only for educational purposes only.
Millions of Americans may be going hungry as the Trump administration tries to wriggle out of distributing food stamp funds during the shutdown. Last night, the Supreme Court temporarily allowed the Trump administration to withhold about $4 billion in SNAP money. The order was issued by Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, who says the temporary decision was required so that the appeals court discount to SNAP participants to help the appeals court, lower court, can consider the government's arguments in full. It'll then go back to the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, everyday Americans are struggling with both hunger and financial stress as they become a political football in the shutdown fight. Last month, a nonprofit natural food store in New Jersey posted on social media that it was offering a temporary discount to SNAP participants to help tide them over while their funding had run out. But an hour later, they, along with other stores around the country, received an email from the government telling them that they weren't allowed to do that. Joining us now is MSNBC legal correspondent Lisa Rubin and John Leary, the general manager of George Street Co-op in New Brunswick, New Jersey, whose store we just mentioned. So, John, what was your reaction when you got this message from the government saying you could not help SNAP recipients even if you wanted to?
I suppose I went through the stages of grief just very rapidly. So there was a moment of disbelief. There was, surprise. But mostly just shock, because they give the legal reason why they refer to the equal treatment rule. And I looked up the rule, and it's very obviously about non-discrimination, which, of course, everyone at the co-op completely agrees with. But we just never imagined that it would be construed to prevent us from helping people through a specific time of need, especially a specific time of need that was created by government action and inaction.
Why do you think this message was sent out?
Well, I am not entirely comfortable surmising all of the reasons why that might have happened. I do know that this administration has been very strong about trying to avoid anything that's seen as an abuse of the system. And so in the 15 years that I've been general manager of the co-op, we've received very few communications from the government about the SNAP program, except very routine things about, like, oh, it's time to renew, it's time to renew your your documentation on the program. So we received one communication shortly after the Trump administration took office that basically was put this poster up about fraud. And so we did. And then this communication. So those are the only two communications we've had on issues.
So this is really targeted government intervention, perverting equal opportunity laws on some level. Lisa, can you explain? Because to me, to someone who really values a free market and libertarian, I do not like the government saying how I can operate my business. And granted, you're a nonprofit, but still, this seems like a very top-down level of intervention to maybe just for spite, much like.
Anyway, and no surprises there from Esau, but the reason why this is really happening because of the pride of the citizens of Babylon, and especially there to our people who refuse to heed the words of the prophet. And I'll start off with 2nd Ezra chapter 8 verses 50, and it reads, "For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride." And under the leadership of this devil, the whole world is under the vibration of wickedness, and to the extent that the the the, the they are very prideful and do not consider the things of Yahweh Basham, Yahushua, and dwell fully in iniquities all around, thinking that this will continue on forever. But the Most High has a time limit for wickedness, and because of these people's pride, he's starting to heap miseries upon them. And one of them is this using this devil to um, make the lives of these SNAP benefit recipients miserable. I mean, it's really something. And I'll go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verses 7, and it reads here, "The righteous considereth the cause of the poor, but the wicked regardeth not to know it." And we can say that the SNAP benefits recipients can also be placed as a poor, although um we know that this because of their economic situation, they've tend to receiving SNAP benefits, and because of that they are regarded as vulnerable in society, and so let's say a righteous government in power will consider the plight of the poor, and by even providing them with a means of providing them the means of food, the supply of free food, in order for the poor to survive. But that is the righteous that in authority. But but the wicked, because Esau, the so-called white man, is the one in power. He regardeth not he doesn't want to even hear the plight of the poor, and so that's why he went ahead and gave out that decree that those food stores should not provide those discounts, knowing very well that it was their fault in the first place that this government shutdown came about, and then the halting of SNAP benefits provisions. But you see how unfair this devil truly is, and still our people don't want to wake up or open their eyes to what this um, devil truly is. And I'll go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verses 2. "When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but the wicked bear fruit, the people mourn." Hey, this is Proverbs 29, 2, and this is self explanatory. You see how they are bearing the ruling over the people, and the people all around are mourning all over. especially, let me see here, the comments here. And they said, why would you stop stores from being charitable? Also, can he actually do that? It's their store. They've moved beyond cruel to sadistic. But you see, the people of this world, they really don't know who is at the helm or at the top ruling. They don't understand that it is the wicked of this earth that are ruling. And so it's not, for those of us in this truth, it's no surprise to us that Esau will make this kind of move. They are naturally wicked, so it's no surprise that they made this decree on these grocery stores not to provide those discounts. And this one says, so in other words, cruelty is the whole point, heartless, just heartless. And one thing you need to know, this is just the beginning. You haven't seen anything yet. The cruelty or level to which Esau would go, I mean, the level right now is extremely low because, like I said, uh, this man is truly he's a natural or an expert in wickedness, and so this is just the tip of the iceberg. More surprises are on the way, and I'll go to Isaiah chapter 10, and I think this will be Isaiah chapter 10 verses 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. And it is mainly talking about, Esau, because that thing that they made, I think it was a decree or a law that they had concerning competition, uh, and just when they were in crisis, they just had to pull up that unrighteous decree, claiming that the SNAP benefits recipients are competing unfairly with and those who are not SNAP benefit receivers. I mean, what kind of weak level of cruelty is this? I mean, those who can afford it, they are not complaining, and everyone knows that they haven't been supplied with SNAP benefits anyway. So those grocery sources, it was a temporal measure. So why can't you just go ahead and allow them to do it at least until you finally solve the government shutdown crisis? But you just seen another wicked, cruel move from Esau, Edom, and people are really seething, and all these complaints will uh, will combine and bring in this very end result. In second Ezra chapter 15 verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the cause of their actions shall stand in their power. And this is what's about to take place so among the citizens there in Babylon, because there's so much that one could take. You keep on pressuring the people, like it's been said, like the pressure from above, pressure from below. So a time would even come when the people can no longer handle this, and then will resort to riots, sedition, and so on and so forth, to the extent that they wouldn't even um, listen to the voices of their leaders, or those in government that are in power, and that will lead to wars, anarchy, and destruction, and so on and so forth. And so these are just the beginning. Brace yourself for more. crazy news that are about to come about. And so I end today's lesson by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Basham, Yahweh Shai, Basham Bukakdash, and Shalom unto the late Brakta Yahweh Brakta of Shai.